Hello, hello, delivery day. Just taking delivery of this from Skipton Car Radio. This was a slightly tipsy purchase, should we say. I had a few gin and tonics and decided that ordering new speakers for the van would be a good idea. We've been looking at upgrading the speakers for a little while, and these guys had an offer on that was, really too good to turn down. So here it is. I'm going to try and fit them to the van today. Not really any idea what I'm doing. It's pretty much plug and play. The company I bought them from, pre-wire everything, so you really do just disconnect the existing speakers and plug in the new ones. We've got tweeters in this set, which we don't have in the van, so it's going to hopefully make a massive difference in sound quality. The speakers we've got are brilliant. Well, the speakers that are in here are brilliant. The speakers in the van are they're on their way out, should we say. And yeah, let's head out to the van and get on with fitting it. Tools I think I'll need. I've got my cable access poker things, so I can poke the cable through to the back. I've got my trim removal tools for getting the door cards out, and my Torx bits for undoing the bolts in the door so that the trims will come off hopefully. Okay, so my understanding of this is this needs to come off with a trim tool, and then there are some T20 Torx screws, one in there, and then there's 3 under here somewhere, so I'll get those out, and then it should lift off, all being well. As expected, this cover just pops off, so this you get a trim tool under there and just pop that off, and then in here they're actually T30 Torx screws, so I've got my ratchet and I'm just gonna get those out. Right, this is where I'm up to. These screws have come out, this screw's come out. I've got my fingers in along the edge here and force these out. You should be able to see these are the trim clips that fit in there, so you just, quite heavy-handed, just pull them out. Careful not to crack the actual plastic of the door card, but these little things are quite tough, so grab them. There's a few along the bottom there, and now I believe once we get to the top here, this lifts up, and then because there's a piece of material that runs along the inside here. I'll get it off, and then hopefully I'll get it off, and I'll come back and show you. Got it off as expected. This has got a raised lip along it. I don't know if you can see that, but that sits down inside this part of the window, so you have to sort of lift it up and out, and there's this little connection here plugs into the back of here, so it's the electric windows if you've got them, so that needs to just unclip, and this lead here is what the handle goes to unlock and work the handle mechanism. So rather than leaving this hanging on the full weight, rather than basically letting the whole weight of this hang on this one piece of metal, I've just tied a cable tie around it, so it's just taking the weight of it. And there's obviously an earth point or something here on the door, so yeah, I've just done that so I can use both my hands to get the speaker out. Right, these are riveted in. I thought they was going to be screwed in, but I've just used my my drill with the drill bit. I actually snapped one, so I've used a couple of drill bits to drill out these rivets so that I can take that off, just like that. Right, okay, so now I've got these rivets drilled out. One thing I will say, make sure you get these the back of the rivets out, because they will drop down into here and you don't want them to rattle around. That'd be really irritating. And now the next thing to do, this set I bought comes with more sound deadening, so this stuff I'm going to get that all over the metalwork here and inside here, And the reason we need to do that is because these speakers are much more powerful and much more bassy than the ones that came with it, and we don't want any vibrations or rattling around. Also, I just worked out that the this comes off really easily. So this cable that attaches to the door handle, literally you just unclip it and it'll come off. So I didn't realise that when I was hanging it by the cable, hanging it by this thing, but there we go. You won't need to make that mistake now. There we go, all sound deadened. If you want to know more about sound deadening, I'll link you to a video that we did a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, plenty in there, so that should be more than enough. Okay, like all good jobs I do on the van, that I had to go to B&Q to get some stuff. I needed to get some drill bits basically, because the holes that are already in the van door are too wide now that I've drilled out the rivets, so I've just got to drill some new holes so that we can screw the speakers in. Okay, so I've drilled some pilot holes, screwed in the new holes. I just basically twisted this around a few mils so that I wasn't going back into the same hole, and that's really on there secure now. So what I'm going to do is put the door cards back on and test them, and done. Getting this back on is just a reversal of taking it off. So I started with the you slide it back on from the top, and you do the T25s and the T30 Torx and put the handle back on, and that's that. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, but I'm not going to film that. It's exactly the same, and I'll come back to you when I'm doing the tweeters. It's tweeter time, and this is going to be a bit more complicated because I'm going to have to take the head unit out and get in under the dash to wire these speakers through. I would show you a little like sound comparison thing of like before and after and what these speakers now sound like that I've done so far, the ones in the door. They sound amazing. I mean, there is no comparison to what was already in here, but it's never going to come across on the camera, so you're just going to take my word for it. Maybe I'll do something when it's all done and so you can hear it, but really it's never going to come across on this little mic just how good it is. But yeah, I'm really happy. They're proper loud and bassy and clear, and just great. Massive upgrade, massive improvement. Also, just to show you quickly, this is the old speaker, and this could explain why they were starting to sound a bit shitty. There's a nice bit of rust on top of that speaker. The first thing I need to do is get rid of this tray and these trims around the edge here. These will all just pop off with a trim tool. Yeah, just like that, pops off. So there's no Torx screws for that, that just literally just comes right off. This fascia pops off, but in order to remove this part, as I said, if you have the keys for your head unit, you'll just be able to slide them in here, and then that will pull this whole thing out, but I can't find mine, so I have to remove these two Torx screws so I can pull this whole fascia off so that I can actually get to the back of this. If you've got the keys, you won't need to worry about that. You just need to poke them in now and pull the head unit out. So if, like me, you're having to remove this front dash panel, these two screws at the back here are T20 Torx bits. So just run your trim tool around the edge of this. I've already done it around the edge here, and I'm just coming along the bottom now, so this should, hopefully with one hand, pop off. There we go. I've got an airbag button here, so you just have to disconnect that. Use a little screwdriver or a little pointy thing, and just there's a little clip there that needs to be pushed inwards, and then it'll just slide out, and also one there as well. Now I can unscrew these to get to the back of the head unit. And again, these are T20 Torx screws. I've got 4 here. Okay, I pulled my head unit out. I'm just looking at the wires here. So this loom comes with, I get this new loom that comes with the tweeters, and one of these goes out to the right and one of these goes out to the left, so that's pretty obvious. I'm trying to work out exactly where this thing goes. So I think it replaces this piece here. So I think these are the door speaker cables that go into this, and I think I think it's going to replace this. So I'm just going to double check, and I'm going to make sure the speakers work before I sort of run all the cables through. So I'm going to take this out now and test what I've just thought. I've also just popped off these speaker cases here just to make sure they fit, which they do. So I'm going to just do a quick dry run, test run, make sure it works, and then I'll start wiring the cables through. Right, I've just tested it all and the tweeters work, and what I've done is the new loom is here, so it goes in between the other one, so you don't actually replace anything. Nothing comes out and is swapped over. This is literally plugs into this piece. You unplug this from this piece and you basically add this bit to the middle so it chains in, and then these two leads here will go off to each tweeter, and the guys have actually labelled which side goes where. So I've just tested it. They both work. So this is obviously the right way of doing it. Yeah, I thought this was going to replace something else in here, but it didn't. It just linked in, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. If you need a hand with that, just ask. I'm obviously learning as I'm doing this, but I've done it now, so I kind of know what I'm doing. And yeah, that seems to have worked. So now I'm going to feed the wires through to where they need to go. So one's going to go under there and come up over there, and the other one's going to go this way and come up there. So this could be a bit of a fiddle. I should just add that this bit that I'm doing now is only if you don't already have the tweeters. If you already have the tweeters, you already have that bit of loom behind your head unit, so they will literally be plug and play. You just take the old ones out and plug these new ones in, but I don't have the tweeters in this fan, so I'm having to add this loom in. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, if you've already got tweeters, you won't need to do this bit. If you haven't, this is what you have to do. As with all van tasks, this isn't proving to be that simple. So the trouble I've got is getting the lead from here to here is really difficult, and the only way I can think to do it is to take this panel off, which I've just done. So I've taken off this panel here, and I'm hoping that I can reach up or drop the cable down and feed it across. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give this a try. It's not working. It's very tricky. So as I said, what I've done is I've got my tweeter in. I've got the cable from the tweeter here going down here, and after having, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you to see this. Basically, it's up under here. I mean, I can't really point it out because I'm using my phone for a torch and the camera. But the end of that tweeter loom is actually up under there. So as I've taken this panel off, as I've taken this panel away, I can now see up there, and that's what I'm seeing. I've used cable feeders here that go straight down through here, and the end of that is coming out here. So I've got a path going through there, so I'm going to attach the tweeter cable from the head unit to this cable thing, run it through, get it down here, and I'm going to put it all up behind the back here and join them together there. So hopefully this will work. This is another fiddly little bit, so I'm trying to tighten these screws up and I'm using an Allen key. It's really fiddly, and I just dropped a screw, so I had to get it down and get it out because otherwise that would be rattling around. So I managed to get that out, but now I'm trying to tighten these up, and you have to kind of go like 0.5 millimeter each bit. It's really frustrating, but I'll get them done and then I'll move on to the other side. Okay, it's in, it works. I've put the cover back on, I've tested it, sounds awesome, and now I'm going to get that panel back on before I get over and do this side, which I think is going to involve me having to remove the glove box. That side is done, all put back together. I put all the panels back, everything's back, it's all gone back nicely. It is super fiddly. I'm not gonna lie, that was a really tricky thing to do. So now I've got to do the same thing on this side, which I think is going to involve me removing the glove box. So I'm going to get on with it because it's actually getting quite late now, and I really want to get this done before it gets dark. So I'm going to just kind of crack on, and I'll try and sort of fill you in as and where I can. Okay, just to show you quickly, so to remove the glove box, you're going to have torque screw here, torque screw there, and then you've got 4 hidden ones, which will be under black covers, there, and there. And then there's a secret little hidey one right at the back there. And then once you've taken all those out, keep them somewhere safe. I always put everything in there. You kind of lift the glove box up, like towards the roof. So this side will be a lot easier because I can just reach in and pull the stuff across. So the lead's gonna go down here, under here, along the back here, and then I'm going to make them meet up in that corner. Should be fairly straightforward. Okay, all done, all back to normal, all where it needs to be. Oh, that wasn't easy. The tweeters were tricky. Left hand side is fine because you can just remove the glove box, but all this side was tough. Totally worth it. It sounds amazing. It's a massive improvement on what we had originally. So I'm really happy. It's a good afternoon's work. It's probably taken me a good few hours to get that done, with a B&Q pit stop as normal. But yeah, I'm really pleased. And I guess the next thing will be electrics. And they arrived today, so I can't really put it off anymore. I'm gonna have to do some more research before I get stuck into that. So I guess I'll see you then. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.